Okay, everybody. I hear word on the street is the countdown has begun. I'm going to open some windows. See if I can see the chat. Okay, here I go. I'm heading on over to the text message alert system. I am pressing send. Go, little text message. Fly like the wind. Bring the good news to everyone that the show is starting. Liar Bliss, as always, here in the chat, over on YouTube. What's going on? Equo 26, Lucky Luciano. Okay, the gang is showing up. I am just doing some last minute things, but here's the thing, folks. You can sign on to that text message alert system by texting the word Canary to 877-740-3226. That's Canary to 877-740-3226. No longer will you be at the whim of big tech notifications. You can get a text straight from me. That's right. It's very cool. You can also text me back. I will see it, but I cannot respond. So keep that in mind. Okay, here's the thing. If you go to canarycrynewstalk.com, there'll be a tab on the bottom of the right-hand side. Click on that green tab, and you can leave us a message. You can do shout-outs or questions or comments, whatever you want to do. But you can also leave us a pre-show prayer. That is a prayer by you that we are playing at the beginning of the show, setting the spiritual tone, spiritual producership. And go do that. It takes about 90 seconds. You got 90 seconds to leave that pre-show prayer. And we have one today. So let's start with that prayer and get the show going.
Hey, good afternoon, Canarians. This is DrWhoDunDat. And I just felt led to, pray a pre-show pray. So, producers, assemble! And yeah, Father God, I just want to come before you humbly. And I just thank you for Basil and Gons and the time and the effort and the heartache and the perseverance and everything they put into this ministry. And Lord, I pray that you bless that and that it continues to take space in your kingdom, Lord. So I pray that today there will be no technical issues, no graphical issues, that the transitions are smooth, especially the jingles, and that Holy Spirit, you are guiding it. And I ask that eyes and ears will be opened, and Lord, that your will be done with this episode of CCNT, TGIF, and God bless the Canariums!
Hey,
this is DrWhoDunDat, signing out.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is November 17th, 2023, and we are live to tape on episode 690. And today, GAMECHANTMENT. Signing on from off the grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, director of the Age of Deceit films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from California to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events and today's emergent phenomena. Gamification. The world is just turning into one big video game, Basil. I think life is just one big game.
Have you ever tried that idea when life gets tough and things are difficult or unpleasant? You gamify. Like, this is just like a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, of course.
Giving us a video game to play, and what would I do if I were playing a game?
Yeah.
I'd get back up and I'd try again.
Well, it's funny also, I was listening to some futurists talk recently, and they were talking about what it looks like to have AI agents out there, like doing stuff for you. And the whole thesis was that it's going to be the whole UI, the user interface, is going to be a game. So I don't know.
Yes.
I think all of AI interactions will just be people playing video games and making little NPCs do work.
Yeah, I mean that's how it's basically the technocratic futuristic version of bread and circus, when you got everybody in their pods in the VR, you gamify all of life so they don't notice that they are enslaved.
Yeah.
They think they're just having a fun time.
Yeah, but those are just crazy ideas. We should probably disclaim everything.
Has nothing to do with anything. Let's give them the disclaimer.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up.
YouTube. That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys. That's right, folks, and let me give you a rundown.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
We start off today's show with a little update on AJ himself. What's he been up to? What is he wearing? Who is he, I don't know, getting in trouble with, excuse me, this week? But also a concerning development when it comes to a product being put out by the Alex Jones team. This one will not shock you, folks. It is part of the cycle of this podcast. Good idea. Don't do the good idea. Good idea gets stolen. And then it all starts over again. Then, Flippy update. Needless intervention by Flippy into a classic nostalgia arcade game. Then we'll be checking in with President Biden's meeting with Xi Jinping and what in the world is going on with Blinken. Then, of course, a quick update. We are getting into this topic. We're getting deeper and deeper into the topic of local politics, and we will have some very interesting episodes to come, but we'll start it off with an interesting story about a Michigan town voting out their entire government. Why? You'll learn later. And then at the end of the show, console giants' secret plot to unlock Web3 gaming. Oh no, there's a secret plot, a conspiracy of consoles. But first, Guns, our lead stories.
Well, of course, we're leading off with the Alex Jones story. And we have our own sort of version of that. I got a new one here too, but just so everybody is aware, we do have a project. Well, really, it's your project, but I'll ride along its coattails here and perhaps help develop it at some point. But the New World Order Fantasy League.
It is a New World Order Fantasy League.
They're all 100% eugenics, transhumanist lizards that control everything. They hate you.
The long-awaited New World Order Fantasy League. There is a website. There is a newsletter. There is technically some sort of case when it comes to copyright law. But that won't stop the powers of this world from once again co-opting our very good ideas, Gons.
Yeah, well, of course, Alex Jones. Alex Jones. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick.
Sure.
Did I tell you that the New World Order Fantasy League Twitter got banned?
What?
Yeah.
Why? I didn't know this. You didn't tell me.
I literally, I got the username, NWOFL, and then was like, going to go back and build it out and like put the, start tweeting from it.
Right.
And when the next time I logged in, they're like, "Yeah, you're banned. Sorry."
There you go.
Like, why?
It was probably Alex Jones.
The canary in the coal mine. They've been creating animal-human hybrids for decades who were made by the aliens. Elon Musk may be the Antichrist. Elon Musk may be the Antichrist. Elon Musk may be the Antichrist. I'm going to eat your brain now. Is Trump going to have babies with a goblin and actually help the New World Order and turn against us like Darth Vader? The canary in the coal mine.
Yep. You were the canary in the coal mine, and your brains were eaten. Just a little thing I threw together before the show today.
You made that. Oh my gosh, good job.
Yeah. Well, he's been busy. Alex Jones has been busy developing a game. He's had his transformation from, I don't know, conspiracy man to game developer. And here's how the transition sounds like.
Yeah.
AlexJonesGame.com. Alex Jones NWO Wars. Should we just play the trailer? I mean, give him a little credit and
let me be clear.
Sure.
He did not specifically co-opt the NWO FL. Totally different thing. This is a video game kind of in the style of should we let I think we should let the ad, because he says some of this stuff, right? Sure. I was just gonna let the listeners know what's happening.
Visuals, sure.
Because the visuals are one thing, but yes, Alex Jones is going to give us a teaser trailer here. It's kind of in the style of an old NES game, or maybe Super Nintendo game, or one of those old school arcade shooters, side-scrolling arcade shooters that we would spend all of our quarters on at Round Table Pizza, something like that.
Yeah. And the just a heads up, there are a couple words that might be a little edgy for some young ears. Nothing too provocative per se, but just a heads up in case you have little ones and you don't want them to hear.
Okay, Alex Jones words, folks.
Yeah, Alex Jones words. All right, here we go. Here's the trailer.
First came Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and Super Mario Brothers. And now, the ultimate retro nostalgia throwback game. I present to the world Alex Jones's New World Order Wars. They're turning the friggin' frogs game. I'll eat your ass, you Nazi scum. Let's free the Patriots and defeat the globalist tech geeks.
We are going to defeat the globalists very bigly.
This game is mostly peaceful.
Woo!
I'm going to lower the world's population. Oh, big deal. I'm taking you down, rapist.
I did not have sexual relations with that saxophone.
Download it now at AlexJonesGame.com, because as we all know, anything badass gets censored.
Oh yeah, you ready to play? You ready to play some World Order Wars?
Dude, I have to get this game.
I think we should just have somebody playing it while we do the show, just in the background.
Yeah, we could live stream. We can finally start our gaming show.
That's been the goal. That's been the long play for this whole live stream experiment.
Yeah. By the way, we're falling right into his trap.
I know. I mean, that's exactly what he wants us to do.
Notorious hype beast, Alex Jones. He is nothing if not the world's most talented hype beast. But the trailer is just absolutely bonkers. He's sitting on his studio, his regular studio, which is basically a bunch of TV screens. And man, is it just exploding with gameplay. And you'll notice some things that look recognizable. You've got Alex Jones in big buff sort of army man form running around shooting lots of things. You've got a giant lizard Mark Zuckerberg. You've got a Donald Trump Superman character.
The Epstein Island
happening.
Battles
in locations. Locations such as Epstein's Island,
battling Clinton,
very recognizable.
Battling Bill Clinton playing a saxophone.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
good
it's
stuff.
You know what? He did a pretty good job.
He did a
pretty good job. Alex Jones is the king hype beast for a reason, and man, he pulled it off.
Well, I mean,
if anything, this gives me a sort of inspiration that the game can be done. Like, he obviously either paid a studio to make this, or, you know, had somebody come in-house to make it. But it's totally possible. If Alex Jones can do it, we can do it.
Well, I'm waiting for the Web3 integration. Clearly, this is not Web3 yet, but, you know, are they going to have an Alex Jones coin or like InfoWar token or something?
Guns.
Yeah.
Not everything has to go
Everything
to crypto.
is going to go crypto.
Oh, my God.
Just watch. Just watch. And it's not going to be good. What's up, bud? Your teeth hurt? That's
got
not
a
good.
baby who wants to play the Alex Jones game.
Just as a... yeah.
He did a great job of including like some of his most famous sound bites.
Yeah.
Now, those weren't sound bites that they mixed in. They had him re-perform.
Oh, yeah,
a lot
they're
of
like
those
tag
sound
lines.
bites
Yeah, I'm
for
sure
this
he's
trailer.
trademarked some of those lines, you know?
Yeah, of course.
About the frogs and everything. So, okay. This got me thinking, because obviously we have the New World Order Fantasy League thing, and we've been trying to build something in that regard. But I was thinking,
Working on
okay,
it. Still waiting for some producers to come step forth.
Yeah, we need a dev team. What has been the mainstream media's handling of Alex Jones recently? Because obviously he's been in the news in terms of the mainstream media, targeted as the crazy conspiracy guy. He's banned from Twitter, you know, all the stuff. He owes $1 billion, right? And so, you know, that came across my mind. I was like, oh, maybe this is just one of many ways in which he's going to raise that money to pay back that $1 billion. But I wanted to just do a quick touch and go on some of the mainstream media outlets and how they've been handling Alex Jones in the last few weeks leading up to this game release. I didn't see any mainstream reporting of the game yet. I'm sure they'll come up with some angle.
I don't think they will. They
You
kind
don't think
of
so?
oscillate. They oscillate between trying to ignore Alex's existence or reporting on
Report
him
something.
so sort of savagely.
Yeah.
They can't decide. Like, they want him to disappear. That's what the $1 billion fine was for. They want to completely destroy him and have him totally disappear. That's the plan.
Yeah.
But he's not disappearing. And so they're kind of having to walk this line between, do we ignore him so nobody knows he exists anymore? Or do we report on the absolute crazy lunatic things that he's doing?
I'm sure, you know, the mainstream folk see something like this New World Order game, and they probably have that, like, the moment of anger of like, oh, how disgusting, but then also like, he's a genius, you know.
Little jealousy. Yeah.
Little jealousy. What was I going to mention here? Part of so we have the Mother Jones here, motherjones.com, back in October. They published an article. Steve Bannon and Alex Jones have a bizarre conspiracy theory about the Israel-Hamas war. And, you know, of course, it's just Steve Bannon saying that, China seems to have been involved in setting up something in Gaza, and maybe we're walking right into a trap. And the way Mother Jones reported it this week, when Steve Bannon wanted to discuss the conflict underway in Israel and Palestine on his internet talk show War Room, he turned to Jones. That made sense for Bannon, was peddling his own conspiracy theory about the war, which is, again, has to do with the Chinese Communist Party and Persians, which I guess is what he calls the Iranians. And then they quote Alex Jones here when he, you know, obviously he was a guest. And they quote Alex Jones talking about how this is a multi-dimensional level war, not just one-dimensional. And then a block quote about Alex talking about the $6 billion that went to Iran. Yeah. And funny enough, they do a little fact check in a parenthetical here. And they're like, fact check, Biden did not hand over $6 billion to Iran. As part of the deal to free hostages, he unfroze Iranian funds for use for humanitarian purposes. And that money has not yet been released. So Alex Jones lying. But really, there isn't a crazy conspiracy theory. They just talk about, they just spewed more conspiracy theories. And then that's it. There's not any substance there. And then, but they keep quoting Alex Jones talking about third dimensional, fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional warfare, which is interesting. Fifth dimensional warfare. So anyway, there you got that. Okay, that's not that. provocative or anything, but there you go, Mother Jones. And then Patch.com, Alex Jones hopes to sell fans guns to pay Sandy Hook families. Report. Among these weapons are 49 pistols, revolvers, rifles, and shotguns with a value totaling $72,000 and $100,000. The CT Post reported. So apparently there's some people willing to sell some weapons on behalf of Alex Jones to help him pay for his $1 billion fine or whatever.
It's almost poetic.
It is. It's kind of like, well, shoot. What are you going to do now?
Trying to prevent them to?
I don't know. The government.
The government.
And then Newsweek, Alex Jones's co-host in prison. This actually came out yesterday. Co-host in prison, lockdown, 23 hours a day. This is a story about Owen Shroyer, who is apparently he was not at the Capitol that day. Or maybe he was there, but not at the Capitol building or something.
He wasn't. He was not there. He was across the country.
Across the country. But whatever he did, bad enough to be in jail. And, they talked
it's really
about
one of the more egregious cases going on with Jan 6. It was, claiming that he had a lot to do with planning it. And even though he was never there, it couldn't have happened without him.
It's just, he was probably on air a lot because Alex was traveling and whatnot. And, he gets pretty intense about stuff. So I can see how they can use that against him. But I've met Owen. He's a good guy. He was nice enough to me. But yeah, this is very unfortunate. But yeah, so here you go.
You're calling an insurrectionist a good guy?
Hey, there's good people on both sides. Okay, you just gotta understand that it's a lot more complex than what people realize. But I think, going back to the game here, we'll see some like the raggedy tag, wannabe mainstream prog outlet that might know somebody in the mainstream try to cover the Alex Jones story and come up with a wild angle on it, and then that'll be it.
I do need to correct myself.
Uh-huh.
I think he led the march to the Capitol, but did not enter the building.
Okay. That's what I thought. I thought he was actually there, but not.
I think I was thinking about somebody else.
Okay.
But the crazy part about his prison sentence, he got a 2-month prison sentence, and he's in solitary confinement.
Yeah, that's
for 23 hours a day. Solitary confinement. There's social justice groups who are marching forth trying to reform our prison system that say solitary confinement is cruel and unusual punishment. I mean, this guy in his view of things, my view does not matter, but his view, he marched on the Capitol like groups have been doing for decades and decades. It's a strong, rich history of marching to the Capitol in this country. And that's what he did. And got sentenced to 2 months in prison, which, I mean, that's not necessarily an egregious amount of time. But to put him in solitary confinement.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's for the whole 2 months or even if it's just for 1 month.
It has to be for the purposes of some kind of legal standard for mental health or something. There's got to be something else going on.
It might be for his protection or something.
Maybe,
I don't know, but that's brutal, man.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. So there you go. I mean, I suppose we've talked about this before, Basil, how we're blessed to be doing what we're doing, but also we're kind of in that no man's land. We're fringy, but not super fringy. We're not mainstream. We're
not be very popular. That is a blessing these days.
Yeah, because on one hand, Alex Jones responsible for waking up a lot of people. There are questions about his loyalties and whatnot, and that's going to happen if you're that big. It happens to us, Basil. It happens to you and I, so of course it's going to happen to people like that. But once you get really involved in, there are legal cases, and then it gets really messy, and then it can really kind of mess with your life. So yeah, we are blessed to be sort of a smaller operation over here and fly under the radar and report on things happening. But I am going to call out and say, hey, let's try to get a dev team going for this New World Order Fantasy League. There's no more excuses. We got ChatGPT to do the heavy lifting for us.
That's true. ChatGPT might be able to do a lot of the coding for me.
The other day I didn't message you about it, but I was kind of tinkering around with how it might work, and it's possible. I mean, ChatGPT will publish or at least spit out a product. It doesn't mean it's going to work, but yeah, it's possible nowadays. So there you go. There you go.
Okay. Well, there you go. Go to NWOFL.com or NewWorldOrderFantasyLeague.com. This website was built by the wonderful producer Laura. Excuse me. And you can read all about it, sign up to be on the newsletter to get the updates. And yes, you're going to want to do that because we will. Our new goal is to rival Alex Jones's, New World Order wars.
It's not a bad idea. I think maybe we just need to scream and just get people pumped? Scream.
We scream sometimes.
I know, but we need, come on, we can't. How do you top that?
What we need is to get you out of California so we can be in the same place at the same time. Nuts. I mean, that is one drastic step we could take to drastically improve the show.
Yeah,
but
is true.
No, you got to be around family and can't leave your community. Excuse me.
You gotta get that mute button back. Yeah, I gotta get that mute button back for you.
Well, guys, let's remind everybody what day it is.
It is Friday.
It's Friday.
Keep playing with the Friday thing.
You gonna learn today?
Cause it's Friday. You ain't got no job. And you ain't got shit.
Are you not entertained?
It's Friday. It's Friday.
It is Friday.
It's Friday. We're doing it. I only have one announcement. Actually, I have two announcements. Number one, I was honored to be a guest on the podcast Millennial Mustard Seed.
Hey.
The host Rod over there somehow got our attention by leaving a review, which was a great way to do it.
Yeah.
And so I reached out and we scheduled, and I did an episode for his episode 100.
Oh.
And he was very kind to let me rant about stuff. He is one of the fellows who started podcasting because he was inspired by us. So,
that's very cool.
So I want to give him a shout out there. Go check out Millennial Mustard Seed, folks, if you're looking for another great podcast, and you can hear my episode. He's putting out episode 100. I think he said Saturday or something like that.
I'm seeing it right now. I'm looking at it. S4 100. Best Buddy Basil, Canary Cry Radio.
Wow.
Welcome to 100.
That was fast. Okay,
Yeah.
Great.
And a strangely fun conversation. There you go.
Strangely fun.
Strangely
Go check
fun.
it out.
Sounds about right. Yeah,
And
cool.
My second update is I don't know why, I don't know how, but I did a load of laundry, washed all my white shirts here, and suddenly they all smell like a tackle box. So I don't know why, but it smells exactly like it does when you open your dad's old tackle box in the garage.
Ooh.
And so I think this is just me now. This is the life I live.
Okay, well, I'm glad the virtual smell is not a thing yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, well, maybe we should. Then people, anyway.
Smell-o-vision.
Smellcast. Welcome to the first Smellcast. Do you smell
Stinkcast.
the Stinkcast? Oh boy. Oh, once AI starts figuring out smells, we're in trouble. We're in deep, deep trouble. I don't have an update. I do have a quick story. Kind of scary, actually, a little bit, but maybe there's some other divine type of intervention going on. But Wednesday, after the show, hanging out with my children in the garage, which is pretty much here, and it's there's some lightning and some thunder in the distance, so you can kind of see over the horizon. There's some lightning, and trying to get the kids to see the lightning and stuff. And my daughter who's 6, she's like, I don't see any lightning. I don't see it. And it's like, okay, we just got to sit down and wait, stop jumping around. We got to just sit down. And so we're sitting there, and all of a sudden there is a very bright flash. Now from my angle, it looked like it hit my wife's car, which was parked on the driveway. But that's just how it looked. I don't know if it actually did. Just a very bright flash and the loudest crack that I've ever heard. Just just being outside. It sounded like a bomb. That was my initial thought. Yeah, Thor's hammer or something. Yeah, that was my initial momentary thought of like, oh wow, this is how G is gonna attack. Because we just did the G episode where he landed in San Francisco or whatever.
Right.
So that's where my mind was like, oh, he's just gonna come in here and then just destroy half the state or something. But thankfully, nobody was hurt. The house did shut down, like the electricity went out, internet went out, everything was done. You can see the whole block here, the whole cul-de-sac where I'm in, shut off. Car alarms going off. It was crazy. It was like, whoa,
yeah.
whoa.
I mean,
kids crying.
I don't think you verbally mentioned it just now, but the lightning like struck like 5 feet from you or something.
I mean, it was basically, I don't know exactly where it hit, but it was close. It had to have been very close because it was the loudest crack I have ever heard of lightning or thunder. And my daughter said she saw a ball of light. So I was like,
ball lightning.
It might have been a ball lightning, yeah. And she said it didn't come all the way to the ground. So I don't know exactly what she saw, but she freaked out. And, we had to talk her through it and tell her
it's
that
a scary thing.
It's okay.
That's happened to me once before. When lightning, lightning can be scary for all sorts of reasons, even if it's miles away. But when it hits near you, it sort of warps you. It kind of feels like you're warped into an alternate dimension.
It does. It does feel like you're rubbing up against some kind of veil or something. You're like, oh, there's some disturbance in the fabric of space-time or something. It's weird. It is a weird feeling. But yeah, thankfully nobody was hurt and we're all good. But it was a good reminder, that Xi Jinping is here and he's busting out the sky fire weapons or something.
They brought the infamous Chinese weather modification with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Do we have any updates from anybody?
Yeah. So real quick, we wanted to play a message from Sir Ike regarding the supply drop.
Do you have the picture that he sent?
No, I do not.
Gondo.
There's a picture that was sent?
There's a picture that he sent. It's in the email. While you play the thing, you should go into the email and grab the image.
Okay.
And prepare it.
Hey, Canary family. This is Sir Ike here with the supply drop. I just need to let everybody know that the Q3 is being boxed up currently, and I'm hoping to have these out the door Monday or Tuesday. So one thing, if anybody out there it has moved over the past few months or has changed an address, I will need to know that very soon if you wanted to get there promptly. If you could give me an email at canarycrysupply@gmail.com, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
There you go. Thank you very much, Sir Ike.
Yeah.
This is Sir Ike has found the cheat code. Because previously, he'll send me an email, he'll remind me, make an announcement, say this, here's the update. But as everybody knows, sometimes this show gets a little wonky and those announcements don't get made. But he's found the secret, which is to send in the message himself. Good job, Sir Ike. And he also sent in a photo, a very exciting photo, which is the image of the things that will be coming in your Q3 supply drop. You will be receiving the first ever Can You Cry News Talk hat. We got it in a nice olive sort of drab green there, so you're camouflaged while also repping the show. We've got Age of Deceit 2 DVD sitting right there looking so beautiful. Of course, we've got the new Slave to Servant CD as well. If you heard the episode on CCR and liked what those guys stood for, we have their CDs coming to you in the mail. You've also got the new Legends of the Canarium trading card, Necro Capitalist, and Mushroom Janet Yellen stickers, as well as a personal note from us, Gons.
All right. Yeah. I'm looking at it right now. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sir Ike. Appreciate all that you do for that part of the whole Canarium. It's a big deal. So thank you.
That's right. And it's, again, the supply drops are really one of the only reasons we've survived the last year, maybe even 2 years. So we really appreciate the producers who get value from the show. They put $33.33 into the show every month. That's $2.77 per episode. And as a free gift, we send supply droppers this awesome box of stuff every quarter. Now, the next supply drop is the fourth quarter supply drop, which means it's going to include the much acclaimed, long-awaited Canary Cry calendar for 2024.
Ooh,
so
2-4.
Yeah. So again, I have to do this every year because the confusion keeps propagating. We do not sell things retail. We are not retailers. You cannot purchase the calendar with money. The calendar goes to the supply droppers because of their faithfulness. So if you want a Canary Cry calendar, sign up for the supply drop and do it soon because there's going to be a quick turnaround on the fourth quarter supply drop so we can kind of catch up to the schedule. But this Canary Cry calendar promises to be a doozy. We do not have the promo material yet, but we certainly will show you it as soon as we get it. But I know the producer, Sir Ike, and team are busy working on the Canary Cry calendar, and we thank them for that. So if you want to get involved, if you want to support the show, if you get value, remember, we do not sell retail objects. You must go to canarycrysupply.com, canarycrysupply.com, and sign up, become a producer of the show. I mean, it's really a blessing to us, not only because of the financial help that it provides, but also every single time we see somebody sign up, it's really just, honestly, it's emotionally satisfying for us because it's like, oh, thank God somebody gets value from this show and they're showing it to us in this way. So go to canarycrysupply.com.
Oh, it didn't play. Darn. Why didn't it play?
Oh, no.
Waiting for supply drop.
Yep. Oh my gosh, this frog in my throat. Hold on a second.
Yeah, those frogs, man. Those 3 frogs that take over at the end. Yeah, man. Those frogs-looking spirits.
Oh no.
We might have to exercise you, Basil.
The mute button that I pressed muted the Skype feed, but I'm looking at my waveform on my recorded file, and it made it onto the podcast version. Sorry. Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. All right. Do you want to thank some executive producers here?
I would love to.
Executive producers.
That's right, folks. You can become a producer of the show because we are value for value. The value for value proposition is simple. If you get any value from this show, you have the opportunity or possibly the responsibility to put some value back in because we take absolutely zero money and influence from corporations, commies, or cartels. We do not receive any support from the corporate advertising system or sponsorship system. And that's the way it has to be. We are living in the future, folks. No longer can we trust that the corporate incentives put on pieces of media for podcasting or for advertising purposes does not influence anything, even if it's subconscious. The desire to stay brand friendly to keep the money flowing is very strong. So we don't take any corporate money whatsoever. Instead, we're on the value for value model, which is a revolution. And it's not just a revolution for this piece of media, but it's a revolution for each and every one of us to take responsibility for what media we want to perpetuate and which media we do not want to perpetuate.
Perpetuate.
So, you can become a producer. Become a producer at canarycry.support. But you can also produce the show with your time or your talent. Time, talent, treasure, baby. Get involved no matter what you do. But the executive producers are producers who come in for $100 or more per individual episode. And that's why we want to thank them here at the top. You ready, Gons?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're starting out with the one, the only executive producer, Sir LX Protocol V2 Night of the Berean Protocol, coming in.
There he is.
$100 and 33 cents, of course.
Illuminatus!
And no note, but he comes in with 235 episodes in a row. And
yeah, Streakalicious.
Specifically, a 31 episode executive producer streak.
Yeah, that executive master shill is still right there.
2 more episodes.
2 more.
2 more episodes. All it takes. Thank you very much, executive producer Sir Alex Protocol V2 Night of the Berean Protocol.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you, sir. Sir Alex. Sir?
You have the Canary Cry roundtable pulled up?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I need to check to see if this person is a knight.
Okay.
It feels like they must be, but I cannot have every single knight
memorized in your robot brain. I programmed you poorly. Yeah. Go ahead.
So today we have executive producer Tyrant.
Tyrant. Is that the name you want me to look up?
Yeah, to see if we.
How do you spell that?
If we knighted Pizza Rat.
Oh, Pizza Rat.
Pizza Rat.
Oh, I thought you said Peter Rat. I was like, what is Peter Rat?
No.
Pizza Rat. I do not believe Pizza Rat, at least, is not on the list. I kind of have some memory of him.
I remember it too.
A knight, but maybe we're just crazy.
He's in the chat, so if he's in the chat, he should tell us right now if he's been knighted. But Pizza Rat comes in. He actually came in twice as an executive producer. Nice round number, so we're not going to disclose the amount. If I don't know if he meant to do it or not, because he came in once on both of the payment platforms. If you didn't mean to come in twice, Mr. Pizza Rat, let us know. We'll be happy to correct that for you. But he comes in with a note. And he says, this producership is due to the fact that I received 2 supply drops. It's probably because I had to replace my debit card a couple times this year, so I re-signed up each time. So I'm sure my address being on the list twice was just an oversight. Yes, the ongoing ramifications of my big spreadsheet whoopsie. He continues, actually, the way that I feel that I have not been producing is art, as I am on the T-shirt council and the supply drop, so this is what I propose. For the next 6 weeks, starting next week, I intend to draw something once a week for 6 weeks. At the end of that run, I expect to be demooched.
Whoa, it's setting us a high bar for demooching. That's very interesting.
You know, he's obviously been demooched already, or maybe he was producing before demooched even existed. That's possible.
That's possible too, yeah.
But yes, okay, sounds good. I'm ready for this challenge, Pizza Rat. We'll keep an eye out for one piece of art from you every week for 6 weeks. And anybody can do this by going to canarycry.art. That's a URL. Go upload your art there. Goes on our spreadsheet so we can track it. But thank you so much, Pizza Rat. We appreciate the challenge. I like the producer setting their own challenge publicly.
That's how it should be. We do not facilitate. You set your own bar.
Yeah, you set your own challenge. He's pushing himself. He's doing art. Doing art for the show is especially interesting because we've had many producers, Sir Dove, Dame Allie, who have produced hundreds of pieces of art for the show.
Yeah.
And you can see like the incredible improvement that comes to a talent when you practice it 3 times a week or whatever.
Or more, yeah.
Yeah. So anywho, there you go, Pizza Rat. Challenge accepted. I like this. I encourage anybody, whatever the challenge might be. Maybe you want to do jingles. Maybe you want to do a stand-up comedy. Maybe you want to leave
dad jokes in audio
dad
form.
Jokes. even pre-show prayers, you know, if you want to challenge yourself to leave, 6 weeks of pre-show prayers or something. These are all good things. I encourage this, and I want to see what other challenges producers give themselves.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Thank you very much, executive producer Pizza Rat.
Where'd you find this?
Bankroll out the bankroll I spend.
Okay, that's not all, Guns. We have another executive producer.
Wow.
You know her, you love her. She comes in, saves the show often, and this is executive producer Christine S.
Christine S., thank you so much.
Christine S., thank you very much, executive producer Christine S., coming in with a nice round number. And for those who don't know, when you produce the show with your treasure, if you send in a nice round number, that's you telling us that you prefer we don't disclose the amount. If you don't mind us disclosing the amount, make it some sort of funky number. People throw on 33 cents or 77, 1, 2, 3, 4, make it some sort of signaling number, and we'll read the amount on the air. Thank you very much, executive producer Christine S.
Women rule.
Where'd you find this?
Bankroll out the bankroll I spend.
It's good to hear from Christine S.
Yeah, it is, of course, always. All right, thank you to all of our executive producers. We'll thank some more producers later on in the show. But remember, you can produce with your time, your talent, or your treasure. Go to canarycry.support for more, and at canarycry.support. If you scroll down to the bottom of that page, you'll see a form. And that form is for, time and talent. If you perhaps happen to be some sort of developer or game guy or tech person who wants to help us develop out the Canary Cry New World Order Fantasy League game, go fill out that form. Let us know. Or you could just send us an email at canarycryradio@gmail.com.
Canary Cry.support.
Whee!
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right, folks. Time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways the robots are taking over the world, and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from Hackster.io. Hackster. We got some hacksaws around here at Hackster.io. The headline: a 6DOF robotic claw game. Now, for those who might be new to the robotic arm critique game here at the Flippy update, 6DOF means 6 degrees of freedom, robotic claw game. So 6 degrees of freedom generally means a robotic arm that has at least 3 elbows.
I was going to say, well, how many degrees of freedom does the human arm have?
I think 2.
Does the elbow
you
and
got
wrist?
Your shoulder.
Oh, the shoulder,
you got
elbow?
Your elbow.
Oh, the wrist doesn't count?
Maybe it does. Maybe it's 3. Yeah. So 6 degrees of freedom means that there's 6 points at which the arm moves. This is not that important, but here's the story. Claw games are a staple of arcades, pizza parlors, and anywhere where kids and or adults want to try their luck to win typically stuffed prizes. Normally, this involves a gantry system and simple control setup. But as Ariel Mela shows, it's also possible to create a claw game using a 6 degrees of freedom robot arm. So we all know these claw games, and usually the claw is suspended from sort of a rafter system, a moving rafter system up at the ceiling of the game, and you got the claw that's on a cable, and the claw drops down, fails to pick up anything inevitably, and comes back up, right? So that's the original one. That's the nostalgic version. Have you ever won one of those in your life?
100%. Yes,
won
I have.
100% of claw games?
No.
That's
but I have
amazing,
one.
What are you doing here?
Well, there was a bowling alley. I must have been in high school. Something was messed up with the arm, the machine, and I just kept winning stuffed animals. They had to give me a trash bag because I kept, I think I had like 20 of them. So I started handing it out to kids that were there.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I don't think
Now,
it was
were
me.
you
I
an
think
adult?
something was, I was probably 14, 15, something like that.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. But I think
Adult.
something was wrong with the machine. And I just happened to be there and, happened to have like $5. It was a quarter back then. And
You mean something was right with the machine? Because obviously,
by the way,
as everybody knows, these claw machines are like purposefully sabotaged.
yeah, they're
to
like,
make it
they never, they have really loose grip and they're not
very
great at
weak.
aiming and stuff like that. ChatGPT is telling me that there is 7 degrees of freedom in the human arm. Shoulder joint, shoulder girdle, shoulder joint, elbow joint, forearm, and so shoulder girdle is 2, shoulder joint 3, elbow 1, forearm 1. So
shoulder girdle, that's a questionable thing, but okay.
ChatGPT, man, I don't know. Maybe he's just setting the standard for the robot arm that he will be the mind of.
That's what lets you like roll your shoulders, your shoulder blade kind of moving around. Okay, whatever you say, ChatGPT. Anyways, back to the article here.
Yeah.
One might argue a SCARA could do the job, but in this case, the setup was meant as a technology demonstrator for the VM Smart Machine software platform. Here, a VM server is set up on a Raspberry Pi single-board computer, which is tasked with overall control of the machine. Human-machine interface, HMI, is provided by a tablet that enables users to move the claw around in an attempt to grab promotional foam.
Wait a minute. Human machine interface, like a remote control? Like why are they calling it a human machine interface? That's kind of interesting. Are they just being cool because it's Hackster.io?
Now, here's the interesting thing. They're doing this to show off this arm and more specifically the software controlling the arm. And you'd think, if you're trying to, you could see in the meeting, they'd be like, look, we'll make a claw game because those claw games are like sort of purposefully bad. And it's, makes the robotic claw look weak and lame.
Yeah.
But if we want to show how cool and great our robotic arm is, we'll make a game that they can win every time because our arm is strong and our controls are good. And, this will show the world that our robotic arm is the best. Well, as it says here, the robot is outfitted with an arcade-style claw, closed via a Raspberry Pi GPIO pin, relay, lots of technical stuff here on Hackster. As seen in the video below, like most claw games, the gripping action appears less than perfectly effective. Why?
It's always the 3-prong that was confusing to me. Like, why just 3? And even I've seen some 4-clawed ones, and they're just as bad.
They want you to fail for fun, Gon. Honestly, this is related. I'm not going to go deep into this, but this is related to gambling addiction.
Yeah.
A lot of people think, I've said it before, a lot of people think that gambling addiction is they are addicted to winning. No. They're not addicted to winning.
No.
They're addicted to losing. So the act of losing is what gives you the compulsion to gamble again. And same thing with these claw games. If you won every time you used it, then you just wouldn't play
get bored.
it anymore.
You get bored.
So
Yeah.
So it's an interesting example of how losing is sort of in the interest of our, capitalist beast system. People have to lose more than they win, and not just in claw games, but sort of philosophically across the board. People have to lose more often than they win in order to keep the system going. But a lot of people aren't ready for that conversation.
Chili Peen in the chat is saying the audiobook called The Reset. First chapter is a guy trapped in a bunker with only the claw game. Made the claw game intense. Great indie audiobook about society collapse. There you go.
Oh, that sounds
little
cool.
tip. Yeah.
Oh, great. So they're trying to show off their claw. And again, you'd think the common knowledge would be, show how great your robot is by the way that it wins every single time. but they're using that compulsion, that psychological known compulsion that keeps our entire system running right now, that it isn't the ability to win that keeps you locked in the game. It's the constant losing and the possibility of winning. This core concept is what keeps everybody basically trapped in the rat race that is sort of the American capitalist system. Now, I'm a capitalist. I love capitalism. It's brought more people out of poverty than any other system ever in the history of humanity. However, we can all agree that the current corporate oligarchy of America is not the greatest form of capitalism. Much like how communism has never had an effective manifestation.
Application, yeah.
Yeah, we had effective capitalism for a little bit, and then it kind of went off the rails.
And now we're in...
Los caminos del necrocapitalismo.
That's not the best jingle there, but we got the now we're in
Capitalism.
Necro-capitalism.
Profiteers of death.
There we go.
That's right. It is necro-capitalism. Most people must lose. Now, here's the thing about the Flippy update. New people, we're not just here to tell you about a new robot. We're here to identify the psychological tricks being used in the propaganda to make you, dear human, open and maybe even desirous of robots coming into your life. So we have it displayed here so beautifully. This robot could have been perfect, but they're using the same psychological mechanism that perpetuates gambling addiction and indeed perpetuates the rat race that is American corporate oligarchy capitalism in order to psychologically manipulate us into using these robots more and more and more. Did you play the video a little bit there, guys?
Yeah, it was playing in the background for a while. Yeah, it's been on loop. It's like a 20-second video.
It ends here with, overall, the game was a great success when put on display, with people enjoying this new take on the arcade classic. Of course, there are any number of ways it could have enhanced or changed around. Perhaps this will inspire more retro mechanical arcade builds in the future using modern software. So even there, they kind of give away the trick. Hey, this claw game was just as frustrating and failed just as much times as the old style, but this will inspire more people to reimagine your nostalgic games with modern robots.
I love how we have, not enough water in certain parts of the world, but the problem being presented now is, oh, you remember those robot claws in your childhood? That's the problem we need to solve. That's where all the brain juice needs to go.
And you see this concept of the failure of robots endearing us to support and to finance more development and more implementation of robots. There's been big viral videos about the robot who is packing, bins on a conveyor belt and just collapsed. And people were like, I get it, robot, me too. And what does that do? It only furthers the movement that is making robots ubiquitous in our communities. And as I went off on a rant on the millennials, it's easy to miss the sort of core concept of the Flippy update, which is that these robots, more than anything, are put in place by the sort of prevailing ideology and prevailing elites, almost always, inevitably, separating us from other people. We talk about divide and conquer in a political sense. We talk about divide and conquer in all sorts of ways spiritually. But the idea that we see, and they tell us outright that the reason for these robots is to further separate us from other human beings. Why? Well, because that makes us even easier to control and puts us even more in sort of a tailspin psychologically and emotionally. The less and less we connect with other people.
I do find it interesting that coming from a spiritual perspective here, and I've been harping on this a lot recently, but the fallen nature of man, since man is fallen and we're programming all the robots. We are programming our fallen nature right into the robot, and that's what allows us to think that the robots, are not human, but just have personhood or something, have feelings, and you're right, it's the failure of the robot that allows us to emotionally connect because of our sin nature, our fallen nature. So interesting cyclical thing going on.
It's exactly. And that's why, the FLIPPY update, we think, is so important, because the first step in resisting the sort of overarching control mechanisms, the mind control, the being tricked into participating in the system in ways that do not benefit us, it all starts with propaganda. And to identify that propaganda and to see it when it sneaks in, and to be able to practice identifying those messages, that is sort of teaching us to resist the very powerful messaging coming from all directions in whatever topic you're talking about, in whatever part of life. So there you go. There's your FLIPPY update for the day, folks. Hope you enjoy, and get a grip on FLIPPY before FLIPPY gets a grip on you.
Oh,
trying it out. That was from I think that was from Chili Peen last episode. Thank you, Chili. I think I adjusted it just a little bit, but we're working on it. We'll get a good outro to the FLIPPY update.
All right, good stuff. Let's move on here to some politique.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood.
Politics.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. Hairy. Got hairy legs. Hairy. COVID.
Get vaccinated.
Oh, yeah. So we reported on Monday that Xi Jinping landed in California, and it was looking so great in San Francisco. It has not looked that clean since 1987. I don't know. I have no idea when the last time it was that clean. Actually, my childhood was pretty clean. But we have a report here, or not a report, I guess it's just a presser from the White House, whitehouse.gov. And the headline.
So we can trust it.
Straight from the source, folks. November 15th, 2023. The headline, readout of President Joe Biden's meeting with President Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China. Now, something I noticed about the website, this is kind of a side note, but, the White House, whoever's doing the web work on the White House, starting to incorporate some modern website stuff, maybe some plugins. There is a tab on the left side of whitehouse.gov that allows you to toggle the color, because normally it's just a white background with a little, black writing and some maybe dark blue writing. But now you can toggle the White House website to look black background with white lettering. I don't know what that means, Basil. Maybe this is dark Brandon, but are you seeing this?
That is interesting. That is weird.
Isn't that weird? I mean it's pretty standard website stuff, but yeah, for the White House to do it, it's kind of like, I don't know. I think there's some kind of signaling going on, but I'm not sure what it is.
They went for a night mode. I mean, the branding and the brand guide for different government agencies never changes.
Yeah,
it never
ever changes. Yeah, for them to do something like this.
This is the type of thing that like Q would go off on. Like, they changed it to black.
They've activated Dark Brandon.
Dark Brandon.
So here we go. This is what it said. I'm going to do it in dark mode. President Joseph R. Biden Jr. today held a summit with President Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China, PRC, in Woodside, California. The two leaders held a candid and constructive discussion on a range of bilateral and global issues, including areas of potential cooperation, and exchanged views on areas of difference. President Biden emphasized that the United States and China are in competition, noting that the United States would continue to invest in the sources of American strength at home and align with allies and partners around the world. He stressed that the U.S. would always stand up for its interests, its values, and its allies and partners. He reiterated, this is Joe Biden reiterating, that the world expects the United States and China to manage competition responsibly to prevent it from veering into conflict, confrontation, or a new Cold War. All right, so that stuck out to me. So the whole idea that, hey, Joe is preventing a new Cold War by having a conversation with Xi Jinping. I thought this is the kind of stuff that gets, the politicians say, like every president says stuff like this. But, we've been at this news talk game for a while, and my brain does things when I read stuff like that. I go, wait a minute. Didn't we report on how we're already in a Cold War with China? And we certainly did. This was back in July 6th, 2020, episode number 215 of Canary Cry News Talk. 215, Basil. The episode title is President Yeezy, ? Remember when Kanye was running for president? It seems like yesterday, but that was over 3 years ago. That's crazy. We had China-U.S. Cold War, which was actually an opinion piece from Bloomberg, and we included all those links in the show notes. And that article was titled, America and China Are Entering the Dark Forest. And I think we did a full read of this article at the time, but I'll just read a couple sentences at the top here. Quote, "We are in the foothills of a Cold War," end quote. Those were the words of Henry Kissinger when I interviewed him at the Bloomberg New Economy Forum in Beijing last November. So it had to have been 2019, which means it was right before COVID. Keep that in mind, timing-wise. And the observation itself was not wholly startling. It had seemed obvious to me since early last year that a new Cold War between the U.S. and China had begun. This insight wasn't just based on interviews with elder statesmen. Counterintuitive as it may seem, I had picked up the idea from binge reading Chinese science fiction, which has its own fifth-gen warfare aspect to it, in my opinion, that he's this author, this op-ed, Niall Ferguson, back in 2020, was talking about a Cold War between the U.S. and China, and he got the idea from science fiction, a Chinese science fiction, and it was validated by Henry Kissinger. So kind of a pretty obvious, I mean, people paying attention would know this, but then, of course, with Joe and Xi meeting, of course, they're meeting to prevent a Cold War.
I mean, ongoing. This Cold War thing, there was a point in 2020, 2021, where the idea that we were in a Cold War with China was just sort of common knowledge.
Right.
I mean, we were reporting on it for a while. It was just sort of understood that we were in the midst of a Cold War with China. And I don't think nobody could
challenged
deny
it. Yeah.
That, like, we still are. We're constantly sort of having these military threats to one another, especially over the South China Sea and the issues with Taiwan. So it's classic Biden administration to say we're not in the situation that we are, and that Biden is making it so we don't get into the situation that we are currently in, whether it's Bidenomics, inflation, everything. It's like their modus operandi, the Biden administration, is to deny what's happening and to sort of force accolades on the fact that they are, steering the boat around these obstacles.
Yeah. I can't wait till Gavin Newsom is president and he admits to things. I mean, if Joe's admitting like he is now, man, Gavin Newsom would be totalitarian dictator. That's what I am. So it'd be great.
Yeah, that just sent a shiver up my spine. The idea that Gavin could
I
be
love
the
this.
president.
See, this is why I want it to happen, just so everybody else can feel the scary nature. So there's a couple articles that I wanted to touch on, the way mainstream media have been reporting on this whole story here. The New York Times had the APEC memo. That's the Asia Pacific, the Asia Pacific Economic Conference or something. I forget what it's the acronym stands for, but that's the big thing going on up north or at least Northern California. From where I'm at, the headline from New York Times here: car talk and birthday wishes punctuate Biden's trust but verified diplomacy.
Of course. He's just a good old boy from Scranton.
Yeah. And I like how they try to frame this. Yeah, I got you an apple, buddy. Yep, good old apple. You want to sit on that chair?
It's kind of this idea that, like, hey, they might be world leaders and they might be responsible for all the horrible stuff in the world, but in the end, they're just two dudes talking about cars and women.
The other thing, well, just real quick, I'm been into Bitcoin, not into it, invested into it and researched it and stuff. And one of the tenets of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in particular is don't trust, verify. Don't trust your middleman, don't trust your bank, don't trust these third-party institutions. Verify a transaction, verify that somebody has the crypto they say they have, whatever it is. But I like Biden's approach, which is like trust but verify, meaning like, yeah, just blind trust. We don't have any proof, but just trust them, and then verify the trust. I don't know. It just seems backwards. It does not seem like a good plan. It does not seem like a good diplomatic thing. But yeah, this article is not very interesting. It's just literally, Biden complimenting Xi Jinping's heavily armored car, saying it's a beautiful vehicle. And the whole deal. I mean
but Biden, who just loves talking about his beautiful Corvette, it's just kind of silly. I can tell how he would want to be like, yeah, he's just a guy. Every guy likes cars. I'll talk to him about cars. And then cool armored sedan that I'm pretty sure we provided you, or maybe you flew it over. I don't know, but cool armored president car.
I like
want to see my Corvette.
I like this right here. Quote, show the president, Mr. Xi said through a translator, chuckling. Mr. Biden, whose love of muscle cars is so well known that it has been skewered by the satirical news site The Onion, peeked inside Mr. Xi's car, then gestured to his own ride, a squad armored Cadillac built like a rolling bunker. You know what they call that car, Mr. Biden asked Mr. Xi. They call it the Beast.
Speaking of the Beast system, Beast system.
Oh yeah, check out my Beast.
Yeah. It's actually interesting that they would bring that up, because most people learned about the Beast because of Trump.
Yeah, it's true. Didn't know that was a thing before Trump. All right. Yeah. Reuters had a little bit more of picking up on some of the more egregious parts of this whole thing. Reuters headline here, and I love this. Biden calls Xi a dictator after carefully planned event or planned summit. Yeah. This whole thing was supposed to be like, hey, we're going to get along. This is great. We're making progress. But Joe being Joe, we have the clip here of Antony Blinken, secretary. Yeah, went off script a little bit there. Joe went off script. And the reaction by Antony Blinken is classic. This is more of a visual, because what you will hear if you're just listening is Joe Biden talking on stage. The audio is not great, but you'll hear what he's asked and what he says, and then Blinken's response visually is hilarious.
Mr. President, after today, would you still refer to President Xi as a dictator? This is a term that you used earlier this year.
Well, look, he is. I mean, he's a dictator in the sense that
Okay, so if you couldn't hear, the question was, would you still refer to President Xi as a dictator? This is a term that you used earlier this year. And Joe's response was, well, look, he is. Yeah. He is a dictator. And in that moment, Antony Blinken's face he does the
visibly cringes.
Like he got smacked in the face.
Yeah, he's feeling, there's times when you cringe. I mean, cringing is interesting. Of course, Gen Z has sort of made the term very popular lately, but really think about a cringe for a second, folks. A cringe is not just like a face you make or something. You feel a cringe in your body. A cringe is the chemical feeling of embarrassment, even embarrassment of somebody else, physically in your body. You can feel your chest tighten. You sort of like your muscles, they spasm, they clench, your eyes close because you just can't look at what's happening. A cringe is a very a very serious sort of human emotion. And man, oh man, Anthony Blinken almost needed to get hospitalized after that cringe.
He kind of does the head shake of like, yeah, he kind of side to side, like, yeah, okay, yeah, because he was talking. Joe went on about how he's part of the Communist Party and stuff like that. But the other, I mean, I guess this is a pretty big presser event, so cameras are going to be everywhere. But I do find it interesting that there is a camera on Blinken to begin with. That CNN would even have a video, crowd reaction of this moment. It's kind of interesting, but
yeah,
there you go.
And you can see even funnier is watching him sort of recover from
right.
it.
That's what I'm saying. He's kind of like, yeah, all right, yeah, okay, side to side, like, yeah, all right, yeah, okay, he's all right. We can just.
We gotta do this
he is
again.
absorbing the blow, understanding the implications. That's pretty funny.
And it was an excellently posed question. I don't know who the questioner was there, but they are not a friend of Biden for asking the question. But very interesting how similar the answer to that question was to Gavin's, cleaning up the streets. It's true because it's true. He basically gave the it's true because it's true answer. These two, Gavin and Biden, they obviously spent a little bit of time together recently in California. They're sort of rubbing off on each other. It's they're getting closer, which is not a good sign for people who don't want Gavin to run for president. But you can see the future building with these two.
Sorry. Dealing with
That's okay.
The little one for a moment.
No worries. Okay. Well, to recover from that cringe, Gons, let me tell you something good.
Yep, that's not going to happen right now. Sorry.
Or not.
Yeah.
The jingle's not working.
Yeah. Jingle did not make it.
Tell me something good. That's right, folks. We also need. Here's a heads up to the Jingle Boys. Jingle boys and girls, we need a local politics jingle. We're gonna be talking about local politics because we've known for a long time that local politics is the most effective way for us as individuals to affect our direct experience of life in our community, and getting kind of passionate about this. So we're gonna need some sort of local small town politics type of material. Maybe get some banjo in there, something that separates it from sort of a more I don't know, futuristic vibe, something down home, just something to think about. Okay, this is coming from News Nation. And News Nation, just as a reminder, I believe this is where Chris Cuomo landed. So it's a weird little outlet, but it's got Cuomo. It's kind of one of these weird side outlets, I believe. The headline: Michigan town votes to oust entire government over Chinese factory plans. I love this is happening at the same time as Xi visiting the country. We have some heroic citizens voting out their entire local government for this reason. It says here, where'd it go? A rural Michigan town voted to oust its entire local government Tuesday after the town board approved a Chinese-affiliated electric battery plant. Residents of the Green Charter Township, Michigan, strongly disapproved of their local township board's decision to greenlight the construction of a Chinese-connected electric vehicle battery plant in their community. A locksmith was even brought in Tuesday night to change the locks on the ousted officials' former offices. The offices are now empty. This is what
this
I'm
is how
about,
it's
folks.
done. Californians, come on, let's make this happen.
You got the baker, you got the smith,
the keysmith, yeah. Locksmith,
candlestick maker, and then get the lock. They're all voting, and the locksmith comes in and locks them out of their offices. The project was expected to create more than 2,300 jobs as a part of a $2.34 billion investment. Sounds like Bidenomics to me. Despite the backlash from residents, the board moved forward with the communism, and you're bringing it right here, a local resident said last year. When News Nation visited the town in April, a resident named Corey Rebo, who had no experience in politics. Come on, Corey. Let's go, Corey. No experience in politics, said, quote, I don't know why they would approve it, other than somebody must be benefiting from it.
You're asking the right questions,
Common
Corey.
sense.
Who benefits is a very important question that not enough people ask.
Exactly. And I love the message here about Corey, who had no experience in politics, said, basically, it doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel right here. It's common sense politics. And common sense does not prevail in national politics. We know this. I think it was like a Harvard study or something that said public opinion plays zero role in legislation by Congress and the Senate after some study. It's hard to believe that zero would be the number. That's kind of like saying 100%, but that's what they said. That's what the study said. But Corey, having some common sense, said no. Rebo then ran for clerk.
Whoa!
And won last night.
Hey, look at that.
That's what I'm talking about, folks. What even is clerk? I have no idea.
Hey,
but apparently it's helpful in the fight against local communism. Quote, we just plan on making it as difficult as we possibly as possible for them to continue their process. They don't even have a site planned. They don't have permits yet. So we're not their friend, Rebo said, of how the new government is going to handle Goshen, the company behind the plant. However, it's the possible communist connection that so many Green Charter Township residents said drove them to the polls and fueled the town's anger. The Chinese-affiliated company Goshen previously denied allegations of allegiance to the Communist Party of China. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We know that's bull hockey.
Yeah.
However, its corporate records say, quote, the company shall set up a party organization and carry out party activities in accordance with the Constitution of the Communist Party China. Quote.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's
so blatant.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
There is no Chinese company that does not have an actual department for party organization in the company. It's legally required. Right now, we are not on friendly terms with China. They are threatening us. I consider them the enemy. I don't want them here either, Resident Harry King said. With the overwhelming distress for the town's government, a clerk from a neighboring township ran the election and counted the ballots. That's right. Even down to counting the ballots is a local thing.
Yeah.
Cheers erupted as voters heard the result from the recall election held to vote out the entire town board. The new board will be sworn in Wednesday. The process to keep Goshen out of their township will begin. Goshen has already bought the property, so the new board is expecting a long road ahead. But they said they are willing to fight. That's what I'm talking about, folks. Local politics. If only this was happening in, every township, or even just the rural ones. I mean, even if you're in a small township, which presumably would be much easier to get into local government positions, even that is fighting a very strong battle against the influences that we all know about. Because, LA is sold out, San Francisco's sold out, these big metropolitan cities are going to sell out to globalism. But that's why you have big corporations and Chinese companies. The biggest threat that they're posing is to rural communities, farming communities, rural communities adjacent to military bases, rural communities rich in resources, even just land, even just cheap land in a rural community is a target for the sort of flood of Chinese, influence.
Yeah. The clerk depends on where you are, but they're the record keepers, basically. They financial record keeping, legal compliance, support services, stuff like that. So
122 go to and Twitch says city clerk is an important and powerful position.
Yeah.
Look into it.
There is something that crossed my mind though. I was seeing some footage out of this whole thing, the town voting and everything, and I don't know, maybe it's just because of my upbringing, some experiences I've had, but I feel like unless I speak, like, if I was just passing through this town, I think people might think I'm Chinese and like treat me bad or something. That's what I mean. I'm not saying that would happen. It just feels like that would happen because I've been to places in the country where it's kind of like that, you know, or you walk into a place and they're like, hey, go back to China. And it's like, well, I'm not Chinese, but okay. You know, stuff like that does happen. But, unbeknownst to them that I support their move here to get rid of China.
Right, you gotta wear your Trump hat or
maybe, something like that. Yeah. Maybe I'll get a Japanese flag, and instead of the red dot in the middle, it'll just be a MAGA hat, you know?
Trump. That's a pretty good, you could do like...
Japs for Trump.
Japs for Trump. Japs for Trump. Hey, I can't say it, but you can. Yeah.
Actually, I don't think Japs
with a big Trump hat instead of the circle. That's
technically
hilarious.
I don't think Japs is. I think Nips is the real slur. So as long as I mean that was, you know, in Nip, there's a chip company or like a product called Nips. So
yeah, because isn't it Nippon? Is like the word for Japan or something?
Japanese.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hilarious. I'm telling you, Guns, a little side project for you. I mean, you just get that stuff printed up and make a website, and just, you know, you could easily sell some of those.
Well, the Japanese community in California are horrific at organizing and marketing. Yeah. They are horrific at it. They're just so bad at it. So maybe I can mobilize the local Japanese population to vote Trump.
Make the flag, put up like a Shopify account. And
I'll go on
ads, Guns.
A Facebook ads, maybe a street corner in LA to really trigger some libs, you know?
Something like that.
And then we'll just have a row of arcades of NWO wars, and people can go in there and learn all about the globalist plan takeover by playing the Alex Jones game. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Guns, let's thank some more producers before we get to the next story.
Let's do it. We're going to we are thanking some more producers coming in with their treasure. We are value for value.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
That's right. And you can produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. Lots of ways to do it. Where are we starting today, Guns?
We are starting with, let's do some speak pipe. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I did not think about that when I was going into that. I thought we were going to do the treasure.
Remember, folks, you can leave us a voicemail, a voice message. If you would not like it played on the air, make sure to tell us at the beginning of the message. But you can make comments, give shout outs, ask questions, or just sing your little heart out. Who do we got today?
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
Yep, as Basil said, go to canarycrynews.com. Any of the pages there, click on the green tab on the right side or the bottom, and it'll give you a little pop-up that allows you to record an audio message of up to 90 seconds. And Sir Darren Knight of the Hungry Panda in the chat is warning us to not use the slurs, which, I guess I should.
Japanese YouTube censors.
I was going to say, yeah.
He's Japanese. He can
Isn't
say
there
what he wants.
there's a double standard, I thought. So, anyway.
But I mean, smart thinking, Knight of the Hungry Panda.
You're right. The Asian card only works like once or half the time or something. So, especially the way we talk about things. So let's start off with Rochelle.
Hello, Canarians. There's nothing like a little Luke 4:19. God has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised. He heals the brokenhearted. He frees captivity. The darkened I departed. The bruised find liberty. Say, Christ, can you live in me? Can the Spirit help me see His light eternally? We are the faithless. He is the faithful. We are the blackness. He makes us beautiful. He is the greatest. We are the grateful. Stay strong for Jesus.
Thank you very much, Rochelle. Always appreciate it.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. We also have another message from Silly Goose Elder Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, guys. SGLD here once again. To do some boomer vent, because I noticed the last time my blood pressure went down 20 points. Today I want to discuss a few words. The first is interesting. If something is interesting, do I have your interest? Or is it interesting? Do I have your interest? The second is our hostages. Since 1979, it's always been our hostages. They've never been our hostages. They've always been their hostages. And thirdly, at the end of the day. Okay, it's the end of the day. Now what? It's going to be evening. Then it's going to be tomorrow. But don't put off tomorrow what you can do at the end of the day. Anyway, God love you. I love you. And at the end of the day, have a nice day.
This has been Boomer Rage with Silly Goose Elder Dave. Thank you very much. Bringing that boomer energy to the show. We appreciate it. And I don't say boomer in a derogatory term. We love our boomers around here. They're keeping the show going.
Yep.
Thank you, Silly Goose.
Yep. And thank you to Sir Ike for, again, giving us the supply drop update, and DrWhoDunDat for doing the pre-show prayer today. So that's all coming in through SpeakPipe. All right, now let's thank some producers who came in with their treasure.
Okay. Here we go. We're going to run right through it.
Okay.
Because we're so fast, we're so speedy, and we're so powerful. These are people who came in. They are subscribed to the value for value model. They have recognized that media should not be kept alive like some sort of zombie with corporate monetary magic, reanimating the dead corpse of a piece of media that should not live. No, this is living media kept alive by real human beings who get value from this show. And so they put value back in with their time, their talent, or their treasure. So we're going to thank them now, starting with producer Arnold W.
Arnold W.
Arnold W. coming in for 3333.
Illuminatus!
There he is.
Illuminatus. Thank you very much, Arnold W. I did not see a note. Next up, we've got producer Paul S., who increased his monthly producership over on PayPal. Thank you very much, Paul S.
Hey, thank you, Paul S. Appreciate it. Very generous.
Next up, we've got Travis H., producer Travis H.
Hey, Travis H.
Came in twice for a total of $57.70. And a note here that says, just finished the show with Adam, and it got me missing the old days when I first got into podcasts. I was a janitor and got to listen all night long. It was wonderful. Back then, it was you guys, Rob Skiba, and TPB on my normal rotation. Now, it's you, Unplugged, NA, Podcasting 2.0, and several other V4V podcasts. V4V and meetups are both biblical. Forsake not the assembling. Personal interactions with the people we love is extremely important. And then it ends with Burning Man, period. Love, period. EZ5+. I'm guessing that EZ5+ means like easy 5 stars.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. 5
Thank you very
plus.
much.
So
producer
more than
Travis
5.
H. Really appreciate it, buddy.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Next up, we got producer Sir Moore of Night of the Burning Chariots.
Hey, Sir Morv.
Yeah, it comes in for 3333.
Hey, he's
Illuminatus!
That's right.
Under that barrier today.
Sir Morv is on a 200 99 episode streak.
Oh, yeah. Streakalicious.
Streakalicious, Sir Morph. Thank you very much.
Streakalicious.
Almost to that 300.
Yeah.
One more again.
One more.
Next up, we got producer Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Panda.
Oh, man. Sir Darren, thank you very much.
You know what? I think I actually have him left over from last episode because this is the 1650 for episode 165.
Okay.
Double checking.
Oh, Canary Cry Radio. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Forgot that there's two feeds. It's so confusing.
I know. That might have been a whoopsie on my part, I think, or what. But anywho, thank you for everything you do, Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Panda.
Yeah, serious. We'll thank him a little later again.
That's right.
Who's next?
Oh, by the way, if you guys don't follow Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Panda at Night of the Hungry Panda on X or Twitter or whatever, you definitely should.
Yeah.
He is sort of a one-man marketing team on Twitter there. He has some great stuff.
Yeah, got it pulled up.
Yeah. So, okay, that concludes our list of financial producers who came in the amount of $7.77 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We got some people who came in under that amount. We'll thank them with their streaks real quick, starting with producer Malik W.
Thank you, Malik W.
We got DrWhoDunDat, 29. Wait, Malik W. 40 episodes in a row.
40. All right. Hey, was 40 no, 40 is not a thing. Is it?
No, 42 is the next
42.
one.
Oh, that's right.
We got DrWhoDunDat, 29 episodes in a row.
Thank you very much, DrWhoDunDat.
We got Veronica D, 329.
Veronica D, thank you.
Sir Scott, Night of Truth, 353.
Sir Scott, Night of Truth.
Dame Gale, Canary, Whisperer, and Lady of X's and O's, 324.
Dame Gale.
And last but not least, we got Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
Sir Casey.
Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
Still at the top of the pack with 369 episodes in a row. Thank you very much. That concludes our list of financial producers who came in for this episode. I saw a couple people come in during the show. We will be thanking you on the next episode. Thank you for that. And yeah, you can, if you get value from the show and monetary support is what makes sense for you, if that's what the Lord is calling you to, go to canarycry.support. And there's all sorts of fun options there.
Canarycry.support. Okay, real quick, let's do some. We got a lot of producers coming in with their art. It's fantastic. Help us build the culture behind the community here. We're going to kick it off with audio production.
Audio production.
And we have a Little Owen jingle. I'm sorry, Little Owen submission, not a jingle.
Great.
It's a full track here. We're gonna play a few seconds of it, but there's a note attached. Psalm 142. Oh, so it's a Psalm 142 song, and he left a link. And so if you go to the show notes, hopefully later, I think it's there already. If you go to the website canarycrynewsstock.com, look for this episode, episode 690. There is a link next to Little Owen's name for his YouTube channel. So go subscribe there and support him. But he says, this is all of Psalm 42 in song. Thank you both for your hard work and dedication, Basil and Gons. Hope it's okay. I put a link. Of course it's okay. I've only recently put a few songs on. Shout out to Marty B. Also, thanks Furf for posting the electronic music thread on Canary Cry Community. God's blessing to all. So thank you very much for that. Very much appreciated. And where is this track? I had the track here. Oh boy. Uh-oh. I might have made a mistake and not have the track. Oh no, here it is. Ah, there it is.
I cry to the Lord with my voice.
Ooh.
With my voice.
track is almost 5 minutes long, so we'll play the whole thing at the end. But yeah,
That's right.
Some of those chord changes. Love it. Love it. Good
Well,
job,
I mean,
Nolan.
another great example of producers who are practicing their craft and sending it into the show, just continuously
better.
improving.
Yeah,
I mean,
the quality is
was
even
always
better.
great, but man, that sent shivers down my spine.
Yeah,
Thank
quality's
you, Lil Owen.
getting better. I don't know if he got a new mic or he's putting a little higher frequency in his vocal mic there or something, but sounded great. Thank you, Lil Owen. Appreciate
nice,
it very
Chris.
much. All right, let's do some art.
One art, please.
We kick it off with Sir Dove, Naito vs. Beltia.
One art piece from Dove.
Ooh, that was super loud in my ear, but that's okay. That's how it should be. Sir Dove has a note here. Peace. For today's artwork, I did 2 different color variations for a potential sticker design. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins.
This is awesome.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, by the way, Sir Dove's stickers, when he sends these in, these end up making it to the supply drop. So someday you might have this sticker coming to you, maybe next quarter. And this is awesome. We've got an NBA sticker, kind of in the style of NBA branding. You've got the red and blue sort of split image there. But instead of the normal NBA
Jerry
logo,
West.
this one has Gavin Newsom in some nice short, old school basketball uniform here. His uniform says West 33, of course. He's got the upside down star logo on that jersey as well. And of course, this logo is only complete with the small Chinese child that he completely destroyed while visiting China previously. And I think this is good. This is a good sort of rebrand for the NBA. Gavin Newsom completely destroying an 11-year-old boy at a game of basketball. the little Chinese boy's
name
jersey says SARS on the back.
I love this. So okay, Basil, you have to have a little bit of sports knowledge to understand the layers here.
Give me the layers.
So, okay, you got the NBA logo, you got the blue-red split there, and you have Gavin Newsom. He's wearing the West jersey. Now, of course, he's representing the West, so there's that angle. But on the original NBA logo, the silhouette is of a player named Jerry West. He's a legendary player, so it's Jerry West who's on the logo. And what's funny here is on Gavin Newsom's jersey, over his left breast area, normally where the NBA logo goes, is a Baphomet star with this logo, so the one with Gavin and the Chinese boy, as sort of the silhouette. And the same logo is also on the basketball itself. So it's like it's Inception going on.
Well branded, branded. And NBA, of course, is big in block letters across the side there. But underneath it, it says Newsom breaking ankles.
Fantastic. So good.
Canary Cry Party. This is excellent, Sir Dove. Thank you so much. You're a genius.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. We got a couple more pieces of art to cover here because we got a lot of them today. We have Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Panda. Or Pandas.
Yes.
Pandas, maybe? Is it 1 or 2 or...
Night of the Hungry Panda.
All right. And Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Pandas came in. It was a nice package of things, but we'll start off with this Godfather inspired after the Podfather episode. Actually, let me just read the note. I made some art in honor of you having the Podfather on your show. Hope you like it. P.S. I also included some files if you want to use it for the show art, which we did. We used the gold trimmed Basil and Gon's duo that is on this piece of artwork as well, but also the logo of Canary Cry News Talk in a sort of Godfather logo style with a cage of a bird and a shadow of a cross. I mean, it is fantastic.
Yeah, it's awesome. And on top of this, if you're following Sir Darren on Twitter, he made a GIF of this advertisement, which has some vocals on it.
Yeah,
One thing I love about what he did here is he's previously created versions of us, but he at least updated mine in this thing. He put my worried electrical tape eyebrows or eyelashes on my little guy. So a nice updated version. Thank you so much for that, Sir Darren. And yes, the Canary Cry News Talk, done in the style of the Godfather logo. And at the top, you've got the cage with the bird flying out and the silhouette of a cross as well, leading the bird out of the cage. Very well done.
Let me play the 27-second video version that was published on X.
Are you tired of advertisers trying to make you an offer you cannot refuse? Then support value for value with your best buddies, Bessel and Guns, and Canary Cry News Talk.
Think outside the cage. There it is.
Like an Italian. He put the AI voice modulator to Italian accent, I think.
Well done. Thank you. And yes, we got the ISOs and everything. So very much appreciated. Thank you, Sir Darren, Knight of the Hungry Pandas. Your talent is very welcome on the show.
And if you follow us, either Gonz or I or Canary Cry News Talk on Twitter, retweet that advertisement.
It's great. Great stuff. Okay. We also have something from Caleb. Thank you, Caleb, for coming in. He didn't really have a note. He just put B and G in the note, and he made a duo thing of us. It's us as wrestlers.
Oh, I missed this one.
I think you are Lex Luger with googly eye VR helmet on, it looks like. And there's also a Gonz. I'm not sure who this is that he overlaid my face over, but
I didn't put this in the email. I totally missed this.
It's okay. We'll put it in.
Looks like either John Cena or The Rock. I think The Rock
might be Cena. The Rock doesn't. I don't know. I don't think The Rock has those particular tattoos, but I could be wrong. I don't know. But it was it's good. It's a nice kayfabe reference there, and it's a good little insider thing for the show. So thank you for that, Caleb.
It's awesome. Thank you so much, Caleb. I'm trying to get in to look at the Basil one. Okay, come on. Let me see the Basil version. Oh, I can see it on the monitor, I guess. Yeah. Okay. That looks right.
Yes.
That looks right.
Looks about right. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I believe that might be Sir Caleb, but thank you, Caleb.
It might be. Yeah, it might be. We also got something from K. The letter it's just letter K. No note. Did you see this one?
Yes.
So it is the original Canary Cry News Talk logo with the globe and the bird silhouette.
Yeah.
Except
Are you describing these?
I was, and then I was.
What's going on?
I was, and then I was setting you up for the big reveal of the thing.
You can't switch it up like this. I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Well, I'm.
Thank you, Producer K. It is the old school, the first Canary Cry News Talk logo, the blue globe with the silhouette of a canary and then the sort of font in the front, Canary Cry News Talk. But on this one, he has now overlaid a absolutely jacked canary.
Swole canary.
So sort of disturbingly muscular. But I appreciate that. I don't know if that's a comment on our physical improvements since the old logo, or perhaps our spiritual improvements. We are PhDs now.
That's
Maybe,
true.
The musculature is representative of our intellectual accomplishments. But thank you very much, Producer K.
Yeah, the Giga Canary. All right, very good.
Hungry Panda says this is a hint for Basil and Gonz to start a fitness channel.
You know, it's not a bad idea. We could.
It's not a great idea.
Maybe
not a bad idea.
Maybe we could just podcast in the horse stance. Let's get into the horse stance during the show. You don't know what the horse stance is?
No.
Well, look it up later. Okay, we got some microfiction real quick here.
Okay,
and,
let's keep going.
Microfiction.
Microfiction.
We got one from Runk Smash.
She holds back tears, remembering how she distracted the waves of drone inhabitants, how he let her and the baby escape one way while the girls went the other. She can't finish the thought right now. The terror of those days has left deep scars.
Maybe the
You're
lightning.
a hero, Gone.
Maybe the lightning was a drone.
It could have been a drone.
Could have been a drone.
Drone lightning. We all know that.
Lightning drones, yeah.
Thank you very much, Runk Smash.
Thank you, Runk Smash. Okay, we also have one from Stephen S.
Sunday morning, 8 a.m., the local NPR affiliate kicked off and announced a non-stop music marathon of Richard Wagner's greatest hits, starting off with Ride of the Valkyries. This is NPR.
Yeah, you gotta borderline ASMR.
Yeah.
When you're doing NPR.
More like this. Has to be like
NPR.
This is Sunday morning, 8 a.m. The local NPR affiliate kicked off an unannounced non-stop
jazz
music marathon of Richard Wagner's greatest hits, starting off with Ride of the Valkyries. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Stephen S. Appreciate it. Thank you to all the producers coming in with your talent. It really does help build the culture behind the community. And man, I'm hoping and praying one of these days some piece of art is just going to go viral, and everyone's going to be like, "What is Canary Cry Party?" And it'll all be thanks to the producers coming up with awesome art. So appreciate it.
Yeah, it's true. Wow, somebody got censored big time in the Twitch. Okay, Guns, I have a question. Do you want to tell us what you have here at the end real quick? Because we got to get you out to go get your babies.
Yeah, well, I was going to hopefully spend more time on it, but...
we can also push it. We can push it to next show.
Yeah, I don't want to do that just because this whole episode has been thematically about games. So let me just touch on it real quick here.
Welcome. Do it.
This is coming from Forbes.com, and the headline is The Console Giants' Secret Plot to Unlock Web3 Gaming from Epic to Sony to Microsoft. And the long and short of it here is that these companies are getting into Web3, which is basically a cryptocurrency-based, blockchain-based gaming.
Blockchain-based.
GameFi will be a big narrative in the next probably couple of years. It'll blow up, and as the market pumps and all that, things will be overvaluated and whatnot, but we knew the main big guys are going to come in eventually. And, I was going to go on a longer sort of explanation because I think it'll be important for people to, at the very least, have some level of understanding of crypto is not the right word. Digital assets is really the right word because
it's Web3.
Web3 and because the way Web3 works is very different. Oops, that's not what I wanted to show. Here we go. For people that are just watching or are watching, I'll put this in the show notes as well, this little screenshot. I made a little mind map of what the whole revolution is about. I have the public blockchain ledger as sort of the main thing. Which is what Bitcoin, sort of the breakthrough of Bitcoin technology. But what is on top of that, or what is able to happen, is code in the blockchain or on the blockchain, which is called smart contracts. And that's really the basis for Web3. And Web3 will facilitate all kinds of stuff: AI, DeFi, NFTs, community and governance like DAOs, crowdfunding, tokenization of everything, Basil, everything, commodities, real estate, art, everything, decentralized exchanges, which you might think, well, nobody's going to run. There's going to be a few big decentralized exchanges. Yes and no. There will be some big ones, but if people are going to tokenize and have NFTs and all that kind of stuff, every website, every Web3 website will have some kind of exchange built into it. And then you'll start hearing things about DPIN. Have you heard much about DPIN, Basil?
Nope.
It's a new trend. You'll start hearing about it more. It's decentralized physical infrastructure networks. So this will be a big thing on supply chains. And so all of that, so blockchain, of course, the transactions are transparent. Everybody can see the transactions on the blockchain, but not everybody knows who is doing those transactions. And here's where the traditional Wall Street, BlackRock, traditional gaming companies, they're all coming in and they're like, hey, we like this because everything is recorded on a ledger and all this kind of stuff. But from their end, they're going to need to dox you, basically. They're going to have information about you, who you are, much like any company or product these days. And so that's sort of the rub and the Trojan horse, sort of, where it's great that they're moving into these more independent and sovereign technologies, but also they're going to have their little rails to make sure the data is, you're able to track who's playing and all that kind of stuff.
And that's kind of the key here, because Web3, a more decentralized version of the internet instead of the internet existing on big companies' computers.
Right.
It's more of a decentralized thing, which has been sort of a semi-independent project up until now. They've got some momentum, some good products are being built, but this is sort of similar to the metaverse thing, that it doesn't matter what you think of it. Once institutional money gets behind it, that's what makes it real.
Yeah.
That's what makes it, once the institutions begin the sort of powerful magic of putting their assets and their money into a project, that basically guarantees its existence into the future. And that's important because they would not be putting their weight behind it if they didn't have something to gain. And what they have to gain is the potential to convert this original Web3 type of idea into a more powerful, advanced version of the surveillance infrastructure.
Yeah.
And it's starting with gaming.
Gaming is going to be
it's very
huge.
interesting
Yeah.
that gaming is sort of like one of the bigger fronts that they're getting involved with, because, gaming, you got a bunch of kids. Nobody's going to be thinking about it too much. These kids put all their stuff on the internet. It's a very sort of sneaky way to do it.
Yeah.
But it's going to be very effective.
It's important to understand that the user experience is not going to be too different. The idea and the goal is that the user experience is no different than gaming is now. And that's what's really confusing to newer people to looking at this kind of stuff, is that, it just seems like, wait a minute, I'm confused. Like, what's so different? Like, can't we do this now? Like, can't you buy skins of games now? Yes, you can. But when this new Web3 ecosystem that they're building, everything will be siloed, but also interoperability will become a word that gets used and thrown around a lot, where, hey, you buy a skin for one game. Well, guess what? You can wear that skin in another game. It's another metaverse,
totally
but
different company.
Yeah. So the idea of having these digital assets, these one-of-one digital assets, much like, my hat. There's prayer hands hat that I have here. You can buy a bunch of, or there's multiple hats with that prayer hands symbol on it, but the one I'm wearing, this is non-fungible, Basil. This the one I've put on my head. There's only one. There's only one of one.
There's only one Basil. There's only one Gon's prayer hat.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So that
much like googly eyes. Googly eyes are getting much more popular in the VR streaming world, but there's only one Basil's.
Electricos Cosmos. Where's the link for this chart? I made this chart. I'll put it in the show notes at canarycrynewstalk.com. I'm planning to do a lot more of this kind of thing because I think it helps organize thoughts, but we'll expand on it and it'll be an ongoing thing. I think we need to pay attention to it because it's got, like you said, it's got the economic thing going on, and that is going to affect us all. So it'll be important to keep track.
It's interesting because even philosophically, it's the only answer to the faults in our current capitalist system. The sort of what is the word? Nuts.
Like an
scarcity,
hatch.
The sort of scarcity value thing. Our current capital is we're running out of things to economize and to keep, to grow. We're running out of room for traditional economic growth. And so a lot of creating this infrastructure is sort of creating an artificial set of value propositions, which of course we've had for a long time in the financial industries. But this is sort of bringing that idea of artificial value propositions to the regular economic system to the consumer.
I could be wrong, and this is not financial advice, but BlackRock did file an ETF, that's an electronic transfer fund, for Bitcoin and Ethereum, which means that institutions and family offices, they're going to start pumping a lot of money into crypto, probably get into the same hype cycle. And I think in the next 2-3 years, we will see a bubble, the likes of the internet bubble in the early 2000s. It might be the last big bubble in crypto before things settle down and, adoption takes place and everyone's using crypto and nobody cares about it anymore or whatever. But so not financial advice, but when BlackRock is filing for Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, and I think JP Morgan announced that they're using AVAX, which is Avalanche, which is another crypto blockchain, to tokenize assets. Like, oh my gosh, they're really getting into it. And so, one of the only times in history where you can front run institutions with buying these assets, before the BlackRocks and stuff.
A lot of techno babble from Gons there, but keep tuning in.
Nah, you guys are smart enough to understand what I'm saying. People are smart, Basil.
I don't know. New people might not know what's going on. Anyways, there you go. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Real quick, I want to encourage you to go leave ratings and reviews over on Apple Podcasts. There is an ongoing drawing going on from Sir Ike, the master and commander of the Canary Cry Supply Drop. If you go leave a review or update your previous review of Canary Cry News Talk, take a screenshot of it and send it via email to canarycrysupply@gmail.com, and you will automatically be entered into a fun little drawing where you can win a bunch of cool stuff. I don't know how often he's doing it, but it is ongoing. So go get your reviews in, folks. Get added into the pool. And let's see. We got a review from Taiwan.
Whoa.
The other day.
Hey.
Yeah, Taiwan. 5 stars. My favorite news show after Fringe News. You guys are spectacular, and we hope you'll continue the mighty work you're doing. Thank you for going the distance all these years. Michael Basham. Oh, updated review from in November. Yeah. All right. See, there you go. Screenshot that. Send it in, Michael, and everybody else do the same thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you to a couple more producers, including the Clippies.
Clippies. Where's my Clippies? There they are.
Clippy. Clipping all those videos. Thanks.
Thank you to the Clippers. Everybody go and subscribe to the Canary Cry Clips channel on YouTube and Odyssey to get clips of the show. And if you have any basic video clipping knowledge, reach out to us. We love to get your producership involved here. But that's only possible because of the timestampers.
Oh my gosh. Sorry. I'm trying to get multiple things.
It's hard work. Timestamp.
That's right. Timestampers that come in, they timestamp the show, often live, which is so important to so much of our back-end processes. They are faithful and they are powerful. And thank you to Jade Bouncerson for doing the timestamps for episode 689.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Other than that, thank you to Jam for the links. Thank you to Clank for clanking. And other than that, folks, share the show. It's the most important thing you can do. If you're not producing in other ways, of course, if you share the show, you are playing a role in not just, helping us get listeners, but the person you share it with, the person who sees your posts, the person who you tell word of mouth about the show, their whole world will change by their participation in listening to Canary Cry News Talk. And isn't that a cool feeling to be responsible for maybe the next level in somebody's awakening or understanding that the mainstream corporate news media does not have their best interests at heart? And you can share the show the regular ways. You could put on your social media. You can send it via owl to somebody else's castle, or you can do it some sort of unique way. Everybody has their own unique strengths and weaknesses that the Lord has blessed you with, and you can use whatever that is to help the show. Maybe you own a pizza restaurant, or maybe you own an arcade, or maybe you're a strange man who owns a claw machine in your basement that you spend days and days and months and weeks trying to win from this claw machine in order to prove to someone, Dad, that you have it in you. Whatever the case may be, go ahead, download all these podcasts, okay? Go out, spend about $43,000 on a bunch of iPod Nanos. That's right, the Nanos. Look, you don't need to buy new iPods. You can go into the dumpsters of the internet, the eBays, the Alibabas, buy up a whole bunch of iPod Nanos, fill them up with your favorite Canary Cry News Talk episodes, and then go and just start dumping them in all the claw machines you could possibly find. Not only will your works be getting in front of children who are trying so desperately to win that stuffed Pikachu, but they will also be getting the good word attached to their stuffed Pikachu. I don't know. It's not my best idea, but you do whatever works for you. We call it rattling cages. And if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! Don't ever silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right, just ask Noah. Gons, any last words?
Yeah, website is updated, and also Little Owen's track, the full track will be played next episode because I gotta run. I gotta go pick up the little one. So
yes,
sorry about that,
good.
but yeah, we'll play the full
worries.
thing next episode.
There you go. More Lil Owen to come.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Grind News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
This is the way.
We're all gonna die.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
I love the Great Reset.
Toilets! Toilets!
This is not about freedom or personal choice.
It will kill.
Feed him more.
Better wrap it up.
Toilets! Toilets!
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
I love the Great Reset.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Bye, gold. Bye.
Bye. I'm out of here. Bye.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canary, cry, support.